Well, welcome. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Right here at a2dradio.com. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios. We're in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. BMW of Atlantic City, located right off exit 37 on the Parkway. Find them online, bmwofatlanticcity.com. And every Wednesday night, we are brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountant. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. I'm Tom Renone, joined by Sean Redden, Michael Matarak, like you already heard his voice, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. A lot of things to talk about tonight. We're going to talk Chase Utley, Phillies, and we're going to go back and forth, I'm sure, between Eagles, Phillies, bam, boom, 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 and this is how it's probably going to go. But we're going to get into Utley and his return to Citizens Bank Park last night, coming home, one of the greatest players in franchise history. And we're just going to talk about the whole night, and nothing short of Chase Utley coming back and loves the drama, and comes back and delivers. And that's what great players do, and it just goes to show you what kind of player he was. We'll talk all about that later on in the course of the show. Our main poll question is based around the Philadelphia Eagles. We're getting a lot of Eagles talk right now. They play their second preseason game tomorrow night, 7 o'clock against the Steelers. But our poll question, you can vote on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. Do you believe that Carson Wentz's rib injury is serious enough to keep him sidelined? Yes, no, better safe than sorry. Let us know again. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. Our poll question is brought to you by Scanzano Sports. To find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. So, gentlemen, Mr. Mataraki, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Mr. Arnone?
Never had a bad day in my life. Mr. Redden, how are you?
No complaints here.
Mr. Povey with a headset tonight, how are you?
I'm alive. I'm chilling. I'm enjoying being here and producing magic.
Hey, Rob. How you doing?
Hey, do.
Good. How's everybody doing?
How you doing?
So, the question, do you believe it's true? I mean, you can go back. You guys know my stance on this. I'll tell you mine in a little bit, but do you believe it's even true?
I really wish we could just, plug in your computer.
I'll just take a nap
and play the video again, because it was, for those that don't know, Mr. Arnone jumps on the book at about 11:45 on Saturday night, does a little Facebook Live video, and I have to assume it was meant to be a little bit cathartic, if you will, just a little bit of a rant that you wanted to put out there. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden there was engagement after engagement after engagement, and then there's conversation going on. And this thing is going, I'm not going to say it was going off the rails, but it got a little heated. It's a little sweat on your brow that night.
There was a little sweat on the brow, and I'm going to contribute that to just the lack of the air conditioner not being turned on and not me being overheated. But we could play later on maybe a clip or two of it, but, we'll see. So, that being said, what do you think? I mean, do you think that his injury is that serious?
I was in complete agreement with you. I mean, I was at the game last Thursday night, and I'll tell you, literally 2 minutes left in the first quarter, the We Want Wentz chants were starting. And as they went through the second quarter and Chase Daniel just looked brutal, the chants just got louder and louder. And when he came in, I made it a point to look up at the clock. There was 1:19 left in the first half. They brought him in to run the hurry-up at the end of the first half when the Eagles got the ball back. And when they announced him coming into the game, that place went nuts. And I immediately started thinking back to conversations you and I have had both on the air and off the air. I just thought this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a big problem because there is just a love affair. Whether the kid played well or not didn't even matter. As soon as he set foot on the field, that place was electric.
Yeah, no, I wasn't at the game. Should have went, got offered free tickets, but chose to go to the bar instead. But
that's all right. Nothing wrong with watching.
Still winning. You're still winning, Sean.
That's a win.
But no, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I feel like Eagles fans are just as always, we just put too much pressure on. The kid hasn't even thrown a meaningful snap yet. And like you said, I wasn't there. You got to see it firsthand, the eruption when he first came into the game. And, I saw little stuff here and there to be impressed with. Like, he made all the right reads. His throwing, I think his trajectory is a little off with a lot of his throws, though. But, he's just getting his feet wet. But, I'm kind of with you. I think we got to pump the brakes a little bit and not put so much pressure on this kid in week 1 of the preseason.
There was a couple things that I saw that I was really, really impressed with, and a couple things that I saw that worried me a little bit. First thing that I was really impressed with was, and granted, it's the first preseason game. Defense isn't doing anything exotic, but his pre-snap reads were right on. And it looked like they were running him more out of the shotgun than they probably would have liked to. And I started to get a little bit concerned with that because I was thinking to myself, oh no, here we go again. The Chip Kelly style offense where they won't put the quarterback under center. And I was dead wrong about that, and I'm glad that I was. But what they did is when they first put him into the game, because it was the 2-minute drill, they had him in the shotgun, and one of the very first plays, he read a blitz coming off the corner from the right side, stepped up, and actually hit the hot receiver on that side where the corner had vacated. And it was a great read and a great throw. I really liked the mobility. I liked the way he stepped up in the pocket. There were a couple times where the play was bad, literally right from the snap, and he didn't try to do too much. He moved well, he rolled out, he threw the ball away. I mean, for me, the only mistake that he made during that game that I can't just say was growing pains was the throw that got picked off at the goal line. I think that was, I don't think that was growing pains. I just think that was just a poor throw. Those things happen. He'll get past it. But, I mean, there was nothing about the kid that I didn't like. And when you see him come into the game after watching Chase Daniel, he's got a fastball. I mean, he just has a fastball. It's ridiculous. I mean, Chase Daniel looks like Jamie Moyer throwing changeups out there compared to Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I gotta hope Sam Bradford stays healthy all 16 games. Because I'll tell you what, if he gets hurt and they choose not to put Wentz in the game, I ain't going to be here anymore because I'm going to have to shoot myself in the face before I watch that for an entire season.
Yeah, I have no time for that. That guy's stealing money. Listen, he's great. That's why he should be a third stringer. And Chase Daniel, he's a guy who knows the offense good, great with a clipboard, great in meeting rooms, great. Okay, but know your role and stay as a third stringer in this league and not steal guaranteed money. He should be fighting for a roster bonus year in and year out. Nothing should ever be guaranteed to Chase Daniel.
Well, if you've seen his wife, there might be another room that he's great in too.
Well, yeah, the bank account.
Yeah, there you go.
That's about it. But you talk about the pre-snap reads with Carson Wentz, Mike, and that's spot on because in North Dakota, he audibled at the line himself. I mean, he was running a pro-style offense in terms of what he was doing at the line of scrimmage at North Dakota. So there's no question about the kid's smartness. And this also goes back to me saying, if you go up to 2, you go up to 2 to let him play.
Right.
But you also talked about his pre-snap reads, and he's a smart kid. But back to if we believe the injury's true or not, you got to look at the timetable of how the injuries have been sent down the chain to us.
Right.
And you look at the timetable, and it started out with, fractured ribs, hairline fracture, whatever you want to say. It's all the same thing. But now, as it's progressed a little bit here, it's more just he's a sore, he's got sore ribs.
It's a contusion.
Yeah, so you see how this all goes back to the point that I don't believe it worth a lick. I don't believe anything they tell us ever anymore. They're all liars in the NovaCare complex. And like we talked about on the video, what is Roseman? You guys seen Ray Donovan?
Right.
Right, the FBI agent, the threesome, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he had all the dirt on him. I feel like Howie Roseman has that dirt on Jeffrey Lurie. Like all the dirt that Ray Donovan had on the FBI agent. And still to this day, if you're still watching, he's full circle on the episode I watched last night that they're back talking again, the FBI agent and Ray Donovan. But the point is, he must have dirt on him to keep his job here. So I don't believe anything any of them guys say. And I think the kid's not really, I think he's a little dinged,
Well, you know what it is?
but not hurt.
Agreed, because here's the thing. It's the NFL. By rule, they have to reveal the injuries. They don't have to do an official injury report the way they do during the season. But if they say,
It's a good point right there. They don't have to do the official injury reports.
Exactly. But if they just say, Carson Wentz did not practice today, rib injury, they don't have to tell you whether it's broken, whether it's a hairline fracture, whether it's, the other thing or just a contusion. They can just say, it's a rib injury.
Yep.
And that becomes the convenient gray area in this whole mess because you are 100% spot on. They're going to use that to keep him under wraps for as long as they can. And I think it's two things now. Number one, I think they're scared of the competition element with Sam Bradford. And number two, is like they got their new car and they don't want to drive it in the rain. Because they're afraid that the shit's going to get wet.
Yeah, they don't want to drive. Woo. Sean, do you have something?
No, I mean, that kind of threw me off track, the new car. But no, I mean, I'm with you. I could see, because Wentz came in and was pretty impressive for the most part. Like I said, he made a couple. I think he was just kind of really too excited, trying to overthrow a lot of stuff, and that's why you saw the throws go here and there. But you saw glimpses of what it could be. And like you said, this kid is super smart, made all the pre-snap reads that you asked him to make. And I don't know if you guys heard, the North Dakota State head coach came out and said, like when they said he's so smart, he said he would call like 3 plays and just give them to Wentz and be like, you pick which one you want to run and you think's best for the defense. And like he said, Wentz pretty much called the game. He just gave him the options. So, I mean, he has the pedigrees there to make smart decisions.
Actually, you know what? That's a great way to say it when you're talking about the pedigree. I agree completely.
Listen, you playing an offense like Jameis Winston played in at Florida State, where he did a lot of changes at the line, and even as a freshman was making a lot of his own changes at the line. And when you look at a kid like that, and even we can say Mariota didn't at Oregon. Who knows anymore what goes on with Chip Kelly and his offense, but. We know that you look at a guy like Winston and you say, well, look, he's got a pedigree of running a pro-style offense, and this kind of stuff translates. It really does. I mean, wherever school you go to be able to – you see all the greats can make them adjustment to the line of scrimmage. You can have all the great coaches in the world, and people, would love to get on their knees for Bill Belichick. But Bill Belichick's not sitting in his chair – as one of the greats of all time without Tom Brady and his ability to change things at the line of scrimmage is so important. And Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning's career kept going to the next level when he would go to the line and just, change to a running play. You want to go 7 in the box, you're going to change to a passing play. And when he had the ability to do that, that's tough for a defense to keep up with, especially if you're a smart guy. It was one thing to change a play, but to be able to read it and change it. And I think to Sean's point and your point on how good he looked in that game at times, or the ability to be able to play in this league that you see the flashes of, right when they saw that, it was that. It was done. And not get out of the game, no, you're not. We're going to use something. Right. We're going to use something because we're going to deal with this all year long, and it's never going to stop. And the guy that we gave $22 million guaranteed to is going to struggle because why we know there's nothing between his legs. So he's always looking over his shoulder. So when you're an owner or something, right, you got to worry about your investment. And right now, your investment is Carson Wentz, but your big investment right now at the quarterback position is Sam Bradford. And that's who Jeffrey Lurie's giving the most money to. So you're going to take care of your investment. Well, and if you're worried about him looking over his shoulder and that's going to make him struggle, well, it's going to make you, Jeffrey Lurie, look bad.
Right. And what's even crazier about the whole scenario is if you look at it in hindsight, they're carrying 4 quarterbacks on the roster. I'm surprised they even left Wentz in as long as they did. I mean, if they put him in the first half and he plays into the late fourth quarter, I mean, to me, I'm thinking if you get in the game with 1:19 left in the first half, you play that 2-minute offense in the first half, you play the third quarter, even if they want to bring you back out for one more series in the fourth quarter, that's fine. I don't give a flying F if McLeod Bethel-Thompson never sees the light of day in an Eagles uniform.
Just the light of day, period.
After this training camp, he should have been in the game in the fourth quarter for more than 3 minutes because not only do you have to protect Sammy, you got to protect Carson.
You know what? But the funny thing about your point is if he got hurt on the play they claimed he got hurt on.
It was the last play of the game. Second to last play of the game.
Well, so who knows? I don't know.
I think he got hurt on the play where they flipped him, and he didn't say anything because he didn't want to come up looking soft.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, though, Mike, because I was even saying that watching it. I had a huge problem with Doug Peterson when there's 4 minutes left in the game, and I see, first of all, you brought him in to run a 2-minute drill in the second quarter. He played the entire third quarter. Okay, let him play a couple minutes in the fourth, but like you said, you have Bethel-Thompson sitting on the bench. If Carson Wentz is supposed to be your prized possession, you're going to let this guy sit out here and play a half and 2 minutes of football with traffic cones blocking for him.
Pretty much.
I agree with you guys to a point, but I'll explain why I disagree with you. Because the fact of the matter, this kid's not going to get regular season snaps, most likely. So my thing is I need him to see the speed of this game as much as possible.
So you're going to throw a little jab out there, but then you're going to back it off and hit me with another side of the story. Where'd you learn how to do that?
So you know what I mean?
You just flipped the script on me from last week.
I just feel like he needs to play.
Right.
If he was going to be your starter week 1, obviously I don't want him getting preseason snaps. But if he's sitting out the season anyway, well, I want him getting as many snaps as he can get.
See, I don't think he is. And I know you and Wilson both disagree with me on this, and that's cool. That's what we're here to do. But I'm telling you, based on what I saw last Thursday night, if Bradford gets hurt, Wentz is the starter next week. There's no way they can go to Chase Daniel in a starting role and expect to win games.
What they brought him in here for?
Oh, they brought him in here to be Carson's tutor. Let's not make any mistakes about that. He is the most highly paid tutor on the face of the earth.
Listen,
question,
I mean,
yeah.
let's talk about the severity then of Bradford's injury and not just Bradford getting hurt. I mean, Bradford's out for a week.
Wentz, Bradford. Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Like Bradford's out for a week. I don't agree that Wentz is your starter that next week.
Yeah.
You know, if Bradford's out like the rest of the year and it's a year-ending injury, then yeah, I mean, I think they'll go to Daniel for a week or two and then Wentz. But I think at the end of the day that it could become Wentz. But still, if you're going that next week, if Bradford's hurt, that next week is going to be Chase Daniel. Period. Now, the week after, that's up for grabs.
I would agree with you. I do think it's the extent of the injury. I think if it's literally, Bradford's got a sprained ankle, he's not going to play this week, he'll be back in 2 weeks, yeah. Then you're going Chase Daniel, and you're probably going to win or lose the game 9-6. I think if you get into a situation where Bradford's out 4 to 6 or more, at that point, you got to see what you got.
Oh, I completely agree. You got to see what you got, but I think the way they're going to do it from everything they're doing so far with this quarterback situation is they're going to give Daniel the ball, and he's going to get at least 2 games. And if he stinks after 2 games, then they'll go back and make that decision. But they're not going to give him a week because it's not long enough, and it's Doug's boy, so they're going to give him at least 2, and then when the moans and groans are going to start coming, and then their hands are tied. So they're going to get away with it as long as they can before they put Wentz in because then they don't want to play him this year.
Well,
They don't want to.
No, you want to hear the craziest thing, too, is not that I would ever wish that anyone gets hurt, but the best thing that could happen in this whole scenario is like Chase Daniel blows an ACL and is out for the season, and they're forced to move Wentz up the depth chart. I mean, because it seems like that's going to be the only way he gets there.
Well,
at least right now.
Yeah, because he's not jumping 2 guys that are essentially – I mean, obviously
making
Daniel.
A shit ton of money.
Yeah, I mean I don't think Daniel's making more than Wentz,
no.
but he's still making a lot of money.
Right.
And it's like so that's 2 guys you got to jump. And when there's no rush as an organization, I use air quotes on this to have Carson Wentz play. Dude, with these 3 quarterbacks, I feel like I'm saying 10 million goddamn names all the time. Like the fact that we're talking about 3 quarterbacks on our rosters is like it's a good thing to be deep at the quarterback position. But I mean, you don't go up to 2 like we talked about. To have a kid not play. And that's what I want to get back to. Just the whole cluster after this situation is. Do you even go up to 2? Because remember, we signed Bradford and Daniel before the draft. They were here.
Right.
Now, is it more of a thing where you guys think that, well, when the opportunity came to get a franchise-type quarterback, they weren't going to pass it up?
Well, I think they didn't know for sure whether they were going to be able to get up to 2. And I understand the Bradford signing, okay, that's your insurance policy. If you can't go get your guy, then you got Bradford here. But I don't understand the Chase Daniel signing at all. I mean, he could help teach the new quarterbacks the offense because he played under Doug P. But I just don't, if you even had the slimmest thought in your mind that, all right, we got Bradford locked up, he's worst case scenario, that's our starter. If you even had the slimmest thought that you were going to be able to go up and get Wentz, there's no reason to sign Daniel because now you're just putting 2 quarterbacks ahead of the person that you just gave up 3 drafts to go get.
I would flip-flop you there. I would say that there's no reason to sign Bradford if you're going to go up and get Wentz.
No, because
they still bring Daniel in for cheap, essentially, for starter money at the very beginning.
You're absolutely right because if it follows the pattern and the template that they want to go back to, which was the Andy Reid template, they draft Wentz, they bring in Daniel, who was the career backup, but also knows the offense inside and out, to be your game manager for 6, 7, 8 games while Carson Wentz learns the offense. Carson Wentz playing the Donovan McNabb role. And then at some point late in the season, Wentz takes over, Daniel becomes the backup, and then it just becomes a matter of does Chase Daniel stick around to back him up the following year?
Or do you just go up to 2 and say, guess what? This is going to be my quarterback. He's going to play from day 1 here. He's
Right.
he's going to learn the adjustment like we talk about with the rookies, coming up in baseball. Get up, get a feel for the big league game. The same thing here. Get a feel for the NFL game, get a feel for the speed of it, get a feel for making them change at the line. Yeah, you did it in North Dakota, but let's do it at the big league level now. And this is the kind of thing you want to see, and him to be able to take some lumps and get back up and struggle one week and come out the next and have a good week. They're the kind of things you want to see. Right now, it's his middle area. I mean, ESPN.com bring out their preseason power rankings already. They get the Eagles 25th in football. I mean, do you guys agree with that at all while we're talking Eagles?
That's ridiculous. Their defense
is going to keep them in a lot of games.
Mike, they dropped in the draft. They were 22 before the draft. They dropped at 25.
Well, I mean, are they considering the Lane Johnson suspension or no? I mean, that's probably a factor.
Should anybody be considering the Lane Johnson suspension? Because getting rid of Dennis Kelly that we'll get into later pretty much tells me that Lane Johnson's not getting suspended. Just a thought, but go ahead.
Could be. No,
back to your point.
But no, what I was going to say is the defense alone should warrant them at least a top 18 to top 16 rank.
I would think so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Too much talent.
Yeah.
Front seven-wise to not be up there. But guess what? Maybe we're overvaluating this talent.
I don't know, because you saw last Thursday, though, when Jameis Winston, he was running for his life when he was in that game the other night.
Sean, that's fine. I agree. I'm not saying we are, but do we make this mistake here? Because look what the national media is saying about us. They're saying we're 25th in the football. And we know how this game works.
Right, but here's
that
the
could be a top 10 team in football.
No, right. But here's the thing. I mean, for as much negadelphia that gets spewed around here, the one thing that this town knows is defense. I mean, going back to the Jim Johnson days, and before that, Buddy Ryan. Before that, Marion Campbell. I mean.
But do we know it anymore?
But that's the thing is, we do.
It's been a while.
No, here's the thing is, we know it when it smacks us in the face. The problem is we've been too pretty for too long. And now, I mean, to Sean's point, when they were out there in the first quarter against Tampa's ones, the Eagles' defense had their way against Tampa's ones.
No question. They look good.
They look strong.
The front seven look good.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the number one defense can do this week against Pittsburgh, against a better offense, a better quarterback, presumably not smoking up Le'Veon Bell in the backfield, and we'll see what happens. But, I mean, honestly, and I said it last week, running the risk of sounding redundant, I do think this team could win games this year, 9-3, 13-9, 14-10, just real stupid low-scoring games.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I think that's how they're going to have to win them.
They're going to be. I mean, they can have the chance. They do have the chance to be competitive, and their defense is the stronger side of the football. But that's the interesting thing is when the national media is ranking you at 25, and I would think we'd be somewhere around at least 16, 17.
That's where I would say 16.
I think what could have to contribute to that is, though, the national media has been seeing this defense for the past 2 years just get absolutely torched because of the fast-paced offense with Chip Kelly and that. And they're kind of like, all right, well, it's pretty much the same guys that have been there. Yeah, new D coordinator, but they're supposed to be upgraded, but seeing is believing. Right now, we can't put them that high. I think that could have a lot to do with their opinion as well, because they're not here every day. They're not seeing the Jalen Mills in practice. They're not seeing the Steven Means guys, role players that are supposedly ready to step up, Marcus Smith, guys like that. They're just looking at it on past years, and they're saying, it's the same guys. Well, I think that could a lot.
But Pro Football Focus had it as the top 5 roster in football. So, I mean, that's what I don't understand. How different one is to the next.
Well, and
you know what I mean? One's got a top 5 roster in football, the other's got you ranked 25th in preseason power rankings.
Well,
Wait, what?
Danny talked about it last week. Heath Evans, who everyone thinks is the biggest Eagle hater in the world, has him at 11-5.
Yeah, so it just depends on your thought. But let me ask you guys a question about curses, right? Because I've been meaning to ask you guys this, and I thought about it the other day, and I can't believe I never thought about it before. Because here with the Philadelphia Eagles, we have a little bit of a curse. Essentially, not essentially, actually at all. We have the same kind of curse the Red Sox had, and you can give me world champions. Stop it! It's Super Bowls. It's Super Bowls. World champions don't count.
You started talking about curses. I thought you were asking me a different fucking question.
Oh,
there it is. The streak continues.
1 for 1. Ding.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so you look at the Billy Goat. when you talk about the Cubs and you look at the Bambino when you talk about the Red Sox, and obviously the Red Sox curse ended, in the weirdest way possible. And that's how curses end sometimes, in the weirdest way possible. But in the Cubs, still curse to the Billy Goat until they win one. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to give you two names. And one is, and both, well, one guy died, Jerome Brown. And we know what this, I think we would have won a Super Bowl if Jerome Brown never died. Just the swagger that he brought on the defense side of the football. I mean, back then, he was walking with that swagger at 19 years old in Miami and winning national championships. And a big part of it was because of him on the defense side of the football. I mean, the guy was something special for the guys who remember or at least seen YouTube clips of him. He was unblockable. And for him and Reggie to be on the same line, it was going to be something special. Now, that one really didn't stick with me as us being cursed because a guy died. So I was looking more towards the Reggie White curse. When I think we have a curse here, not from Reggie, but from God, truthfully. Because God told Reggie to go to Green Bay.
Yes, he did.
God told Reggie to go sign with the Green Bay Packers. And not from that day on, but from that point in them 90s, we were close. I mean, listen, we didn't win a playoff game under Buddy, but in terms of our defense, we were Super Bowl caliber defense. And if we could have got some kind of offensive coordinator going on in here, we would have been close. But after that, we've been all the ones we've been to, the five NFC Championship games, and only getting over the hump once to go to the Super Bowl and not win the Super Bowl. And I just wonder, are we cursed for the Philadelphia Eagles? Because I think we have a Reggie White / God curse that has cursed the Philadelphia Eagles. Because when Reggie came back, and I believe it was in '97, he came back. There wasn't an ovation like Mr. Utley that we'll segue to later on the show. There wasn't an ovation like that, or like an ovation like Donovan got I think a bigger ovation than Reggie got when he came back. I think the people here not only were upset with Reggie for leaving, but Norman Brayman, the whole nine. But do you feel like we got a little curse here?
I do, and I want to touch on a couple different pieces of that because it's a great, complex question, and I love every aspect of it. Going back to the first thing you talked about, Jerome Brown, rest in peace. That to me was not a curse as much as it was that became the rallying cry for that team. They were going to win it for Jerome. And I actually think him passing, while it hurt the on-field product a little bit, because he was just a dominant force in the middle, the team rallied around that. And they rallied around it for more than the rest of that season. I mean, that was a rallying cry for
a while, right? That defense was good for a long time.
2-3 years. Going on to Reggie, I do think that there is a real validity to what you're talking about. The God part of it? Maybe a little bit. But I think the whole thing with the reception with Reggie is, I think for as much as people love Reggie left for the money. You look at Donovan, he got traded. You look at Dawkins, they chose not to re-sign him. Rollins got traded. Utley got traded. It's guys that are leaving not of their own free will that get the reception when they come back. I think Reggie didn't get the love when he came back because he took the money and rolled. Now, when he came back and they did his retirement, and obviously it was after his death, Monday Night Football game, they retired his number. His family was there. Mm-hmm. They showed the video. The place went nuts. Reggie chants, the whole deal. So I think in that sense,
he wasn't there.
No, he was already passing.
Right? Yeah.
But I mean, in that sense, it kind of,
you can't boo that,
right? But I mean, it kind of became a sense, right?
You can't, yeah.
But it could have been a very just classy, stoic sort of ceremony. But it wasn't. There was some pep to it. And I think in the situation with Reggie, it sort of became a case of time healed all wounds. But yeah, Reggie took the money and rolled, and there's definitely still to this day a hangover.
Mostly curse of Reggie White.
I mean, if you comparing it to the
right,
comparing it to the Philly situation, I don't want to dive too deep that way.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna put this question out while we're talking. I don't get people's opinion. I'm gonna go.
But last weekend was Hall of Fame weekend, and Jim Thome was back. And Sean, feel free to jump in here at any time. But they're talking about how Jim Thome was the gateway to the team that wound up winning the World Series and all those straight divisions and everything like that. He was the first big-name free agent to sign with the Phillies as they were building the new stadium, the construction workers with the hard hats that we want Tommy and that whole deal. And I think the Reggie situation is just the opposite, where when Reggie left, he took a lot of the spirit and a lot of the fire with him. And it took, a couple of coaching changes and drafting Donovan, in the first round. And then even, several years later, getting T.O. to restore that whole thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not ready to say it's a curse. I mean, you could argue that. I could see why some people lean that way. But my thing is why the Eagles haven't won yet is incompetence. The fact that Andy Reid,
I agree with that, too. I'm trying to look for a goddamn excuse here, Sean.
You want to call a spade a spade. I ain't got no problem with that.
But I just think the fact that, you just got, Andy Reid was here and he was cool with, 5 seasons in a row trotting out Todd Pinkston and James Thrash each year, knowing that the defense he had with Trotter and Dawkins and Sheldon Brown, Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, the fact that Andy Reid sat back and was just totally okay with having Donovan McNabb, a franchise quarterback, wasting years throwing to Todd Pinkston and James Thrash and Chad Lewis and guys like that. It finally took him to go get T.O. to go get it. And, I just think it's just sheer incompetence. And that's the way I've always
Ownership
that's what I'm about to
incompetence.
say. That's the way I've always looked at the Eagles organization. It's just that they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, see, here's the problem with this whole thing, and I'm not telling you you're wrong at all. But if you go back to one of the things that we talked about last week, we talked about in the early years of Andy Reid, when they had those garbage receivers. The thing that they did have was Donovan and the three-headed monster in the backfield. Where they had, they had Deuce, Correll.
They didn't have trouble scoring.
And B. West. And that was the thing, was they didn't have trouble scoring, but they weren't a well-balanced offense.
No, yeah.
But then what happened was, when they finally figured out that Pinkston was going to be okay, and then they went out and got T.O., what did they do? They get rid of Deuce. Buck winds up going deep onto the bench. Westbrook becomes a starting tailback, but he's more of a receiver than he is a runner. So their one-dimensional running offense over the span of 2 seasons suddenly becomes a one-dimensional passing offense.
Exactly.
And they're just trying to win with a one-dimensional offense all the time. And in the NFL, you can't do that. Not even the Patriots with Brady are that one-dimensional.
Right,
So
they'll pound it down your throats.
yeah, I mean, it's...
You saw they had Corey Dillon. Somehow the Patriots always find a way to take a journeyman running back then just make him a workhorse.
They can make any running back in the NFL look like $1 million. It's unbelievable.
Look, they had Kevin Falk. LeGarrette Blount turned into a solid running back in their organization. Just it's run different.
Tommy, where'd you post that? Our Twitter page?
No, I'm just posting on my personal.
Okay.
My personal Facebook.
I'm going to share that away then.
No, just a question. And
I definitely want some feedback on that because it's a great question.
And so people realize I'm not taking a shot at God here. I'm just saying God told Reggie, the minister of defense, to leave and go to Green Bay.
Bro, you got a metal door behind you. You better not be taking a shot at God.
Well, I mean,
thunderstorms in the area. You know how it is.
But that's the question at hand right now. Are the Philadelphia Eagles cursed by Reggie White / God? Because it sort of has the feel of the Billy Goat and the Bambino a little bit. This has that feel. And curses are made to be broken. So at some point, we would hope it ends. It might not end in our lifetime, but at some point, we got to hope it ends.
Fellas, I was driving home last night in that lightning storm and seeing the bolts of lightning. It really felt like I was watching God. And then I went home to the lady and showed her what God was.
Oh, Yahtzee. That's hilarious. I love it.
But yes, our poll question that you can vote on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, A2D Radio is where you can find us. Do you believe that Carson Wentz's rib injuries is serious enough to keep him sidelined? Yes, no, or better safe than sorry? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, A2D Radio. This is Tom and Mike AM in the PM right here, A2DRadio.com. Tom Renone, Sean Redden, Michael Mataraki, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. What we'll do is we'll take a little break. come back, or you get right into the Phils, or how do you guys want to do it?
Yeah, I don't think I can hold my tongue much longer on the
Why don't we let
Phils.
God tell us what to talk
Yeah,
about?
we
next
could do
time?
that too.
You know what? Perfect, Sean. We're going to let God segue us back into this. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the VM.
right here, the worldwide leader, Real Talk, A2DRadio.com. And this segment was brought to you by BMW Atlantic City. BMW Atlantic City, its Challenges sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. Lease a certified pre-owned Elite 2016 BMW 320i with X-Drive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW Atlantic City, easy to get to. Minutes off exit 37 on the Parkway. Online, BMW of AtlanticCity.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, here on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey, with over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for A2DRadio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. $125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at A2DRadio.com hope to see you there.
Tom Arnone, Big Mikey Smalls, Tom, Mike, AM, in the PM, only on A2DRadio.com. Yo, welcome back, Tom.
Mike
AM.
in the PM.
Right here, HUDRadio.com. I'm Tom Renone, joined by Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. If you're just joining us, you missed our little Eagles talk. You can go back and listen to every show and tune into what you missed here. HUD Radio, everything is archived in our poll question. You can vote on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. HUD Radio is where you can find us. It was brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center. Find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. Do you believe that Carson Wentz's rib injury is serious enough to keep him sidelined? Yes, no, better safe than sorry. I think we all agree that it's not serious enough to keep him sidelined for maybe more than this week. Maybe precautionary, you would have kept him out this week. I think we all agree that it's no. That
Coach at North Dakota would be playing him this week.
No question about it, or at least trying to. He didn't have a lot of options there.
Tape it up and go.
Not a lot of fish in the barrel in North Dakota. But our show, like every Wednesday night, is brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountant. You can find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. And also BMW Atlantic City, and find them on the web, bmwatlanticcity.com. And we're going to move on to some Chase Utley conversation. Utley's return to Citizens Bank Park last night as a member of the Dodgers, first time back here in Philadelphia. And listen, there's no other way Chase Utley, and listen, I want to clarify this. The cheer the first night is fine. Mm-hmm. Let me rephrase it even more. When you're not in contention, it's even more fine to continue to cheers the whole game.
Absolutely.
All right? If you're in contention, standing out when he steps to the plate, and that's it. Right? I mean, if you're playing for a chance to win a division right now, or you're in a big-time wild card race, listen, after the ovation, all bets are off now. Okay? But he deserves that ovation. And last night for this baseball team, who's not going to win the wild card, and for all the goddamn media outlets out there that actually post that and write that, just get a grip on reality, please. I mean, I love it. They're 6.5 out. Stop it. Everybody's 6.5 out because of the extra wild card. So just stop. They're not good enough. Like, see when they play the Dodgers and good teams, they get roll jobbed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they get rolled. It's not even a question.
Here's the thing, Tommy. This is a team, like you said, 6.5 out of the wild card on a Tuesday night at the end of August, and it's 96 degrees. They get 32,000 there last night. I guarantee you 22 of the 32,000 was there to see Chase Utley.
No question.
No other reason.
I would go higher than that. You could be right, Sean.
People at Aramark, even everybody there. I mean, their only reason they're coming to work was to see Chase Utley. I mean, it's real simple. And listen, you guys know me, and you know how much of a Howard guy I am. And guys who know me, they know that my list was Howard, Rollins, Utley. I mean, I thought all three of them were 1A, 1B, and 1C. I mean, they're interchangeable on who you liked more. But listen, Utley was a stud here. I mean, talking about a game changer, a guy who played the game hard. Everything we wanted in a ball player, football player, that we look for in ball players here in the city of Philadelphia. Everything. Embodied the city. Everything he says is embodied the city. Okay? And I never liked the guys who were big Utley guys who didn't like Howard. I mean, you should like all three of them guys, four of them guys, all that team, that 08 team, because they brought us something that for most of us that are living never saw a championship here. All right? Or if we did, we were real young. So not many people saw championships in my generation.
Dude,
so that was big for us.
I was eight in 1980.
Yeah, so you didn't see it essentially.
I mean, I knew it, but I didn't. I don't remember. I mean, granted, I remember because I'm a freaking baseball encyclopedia, but I didn't know it the way I knew 2008.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
So just to give the guy his due last night, and to show respect for an all-time great here. I mean, that's how we get criticized by the national media of being a terrible fan base at times.
And you wonder. Well, but here's the thing. Do you mind? May I?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You just want to bring the caller on the line right now?
No. I want to say this, and then the caller can rebut if he wants to.
I can try.
To your point about the national media, Philadelphia is the only city that will shit on the opponents and piss on their legends. Because all the shit that I have been hearing on the freaking dial today and all the stuff on social media is freaking ridiculous. And I'm talking about guys on this station, Brian Daly, former guys on this station, Dave Navo, Quimby from the Green Legion, Rob Velavis from the Rob V Show, who actually puts on a pretty good show, but is completely freaking off base. For these people to say that he should get the standing ovation at the beginning of the game and then you should boo him for the rest of the game, learn the freaking difference between rooting for someone versus cheering for them, okay? Get a freaking clue, all right? Because it is okay to cheer for a legend in your town's accomplishments, regardless of what uniform he's got on or who he's done it against. Your team is 6.5 out of the wild card. You're 10 below 500. If Chase Utley has 4 strikeouts, that's great because you weren't rooting for the Dodgers. You're still not rooting for the Dodgers, even though he has 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. You're cheering for a legend's accomplishments. And for these jack-offs that say that because he hit 2 home runs last night, the first pitch he saw tonight should be in his ear flap, you're out of your fucking minds. Because here's the thing. Number one, you don't hit a goddamn legend in your town. You just don't do it. Number two, your pitching staff is thin as it is. You haven't had a starter get out of the 5th inning in how many games? You got one healthy starter, Jake Thompson, who's on the mound tonight. It's a kid who's in his 3rd major league start. And in his 3rd major league start, you jack-offs want him to put it in the ear of a freaking legend?
Yeah, a legend here. A legend here. That is
Here.
a legend here.
Your own pitcher will get booed off the mound for hitting Chase Utley tonight.
Might never rebound from that.
And you look at what happened Saturday night against the Rockies. Michael Franco hits a home run. He gets hit by a pitch in his next at-bat. There's no warnings. The pitcher gets ejected. Chase Utley hits 2 home runs last night. You think if Jake Thompson doesn't hit him in the 1st inning, he's going to get to pitch to another batter? Hell freaking no. He's gone. McCannon's gone. And now you have another goddamn game that you're trying to piece together with your bullpen when, oh, by the way, you're 6.5 games out of the wild card, which suddenly is the reason that you shouldn't be cheering for him in the first place because you're only 6.5 games out of the wild card. So which way do you want it? Do you want it? You're 6.5 games out of the wild card. You shouldn't be cheering for him. Or, oh, you're 6.5 games out of the wild card. It's okay to hit him and basically screw yourself out of a game because your starting pitcher is going to be gone after 1 batter. These people need
After that, you're the enemy. You're wearing the other team jersey. I don't care if you're in a playoff race or not. You're not one of us anymore. You get the standing ovation, welcome back. But after that first pitch is thrown, you're the enemy.
Dude, this is not Pedro Feliz that we're talking about.
I understand.
This is not. It's not even Shane Victorino we're talking about. He's gonna go in. If he goes into the Hall of Fame, he's going in as a Philly. He's always going to be a Philly. What do you mean this is not one of us that we're talking about?
What are you talking about, enemy? I don't understand. You're making Chase Utley out to be the enemy now?
Where the hell is your respect for the history of the game?
Dave, is that what you're saying? Are you saying that Chase Utley is an enemy to us now?
As of now, yes. He's gone. He's wearing another team's jersey.
No, I get that, but this is his first night back. For the first night, for a team that with the Philadelphia Phillies that are not in contention, and it means nothing to them, why is it wrong for the fans to show this guy homage the entire night? Listen, it's not or pay homage, whatever the frick the stupid
you're
word
right.
is.
You're good.
Yeah, I was sorry the first time. But these dumb comments make me get all wound up for no freaking reason because I don't understand. Like, we're not in contention. The guy didn't just get like a single and get a curtain call. The guy had 2 home runs in the last night's game. One was a grand slam. The game was out of reach anyway. We can't play. We're not good enough to play with the Los Angeles Dodgers to begin with. So why can't we give the guy the respect that he deserves? And I'm not Mr. Utley here either. But why can't we give him the respect that he deserves for one night? For one night and his first time back.
Dave,
What's wrong with that?
Dave, let me ask you a couple questions, okay?
Okay.
And
All right.
we'll just go one by one, and I want you to answer them honestly, okay?
Yep.
When he hit his first home run,
Yeah.
did he walk halfway to first base? Did he toss his bat? Did he pimp it down the line? Or did he do what he always does and sprint around the bases?
No, you're right.
Okay. And
I'm not taking that away from him.
Okay, and when he got into the dugout, was he looking for a curtain call? I don't think so. I think he went into the dugout and started to go down the tunnel, and they wouldn't resume the game until he took a curtain call. He didn't even come up the steps. He basically went to a spot in the dugout where he was visible, took his helmet off, waved, and ducked back into the dugout. He did not want this attention. When he hit the grand slam, same thing. He sprinted around the bases. There was no pimping. There was no bat flip. He went into the dugout. He went down the tunnel, and the crowd was twice as loud for the grand slam as they were for the earlier home run, and he had to come out and take the curtain call, or else they weren't going to be able to resume the game. You got to understand what kind of player Chase Utley is. He doesn't want the spotlight. He's just a primetime player who excels in primetime situations, and coming back to his, and I'm going to say it, home away from hometown last night was a primetime situation.
No, I understand what you're saying there. I mean, yeah, you're right. He didn't.
Then why do you want to stick a fastball in his ear tonight?
Why not?
Why not? Hold on. Why not? What are you talking
about?
Are you okay? Because I think you're lying on Facebook by saying you never did drugs or did alcohol before. Because that kind of comment is somebody that's been, on the corner looking for goddamn drugs. That's what that kind of comment's about. That's the most ridiculous comment. And the fact that I even allowed that on these airways just made all of us dumber. I mean, that's what just happened. And I hate to yell and scream about this kind of shit, but this is a guy that made it clear to you throughout this whole conversation that I am not Mr. Utley. But that is asinine. That's not even like normal people don't think like that. Like, first off, you lose your Philadelphia fanhood with a comment like that. I mean, that's how quick you lose it. Now, you want to talk to me if we're in a – never is that guy deserve to get punked. Never does Chase Utley deserve to get punked here. Period.
Like I said –
Period. I don't understand where you come up with that.
Like I said before we got knocked off the air, Philadelphia, you wonder why the national media gives us such a crappy reputation because we shit on the opponents and piss on the legends.
I just don't understand how you could say that about an all-time great here.
No,
Like, how can you sleep at night making a comment like that? Like, if you have an Utley jersey, you better give it away to somebody who's going to rock it the right way,
Tommy,
because you don't deserve to ever wear one.
Tommy,
better yet, any Phillies jersey. So you should keep getting Navo put on the back of your jerseys, because that's the only guy on the back of a Phillies jersey that you should be wearing.
Here's what
Plain and simple. Game over.
Here's what I don't understand, okay? So, Michael Jordan, who never played a minute of his career in a Sixers uniform, he retires with the Bulls.
Because he's the greatest of all time.
Comes
Well,
back.
no, he's the second
Oh,
greatest of all
shut up! I'm not talking to you. He retires with the Bulls. He comes back with the Wizards. He announces that he's playing his last game of all time in Philly with the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy who never played a minute with the Philadelphia 76ers. And every time he touched the ball during that game, the crowd went crazy. So the reputation from the national media gets tossed out the window on that. But why the hell can we cheer every time Michael Jordan touches the ball? But now we can't cheer for Chase Utley going off in his return to Philadelphia.
You guys can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, you can't love the guy and then talk about because the guy wore us out last night. Then now all of a sudden you can talk about plunking the guy or that. Like nobody has the right to tell us as fans who we should and shouldn't cheer for. And this isn't just listen. When Pat Burrell left, Pat Burrell deserved an ovation all through the night. Okay, when Ryan Howard,
he got it all night.
Oh, he got it. Yeah, we know that. Like when any of these guys who won a championship, Jimmy, any of these guys, if they come in here and produce for one night, they have that night. That's their night. That's it. Now tonight, okay, I'm not gonna be like put a smile on my face if Utley hit a homer tonight. No, it's over with. Okay? And I didn't have a smile on my face last night. It was just like, what I said to myself, typical Chase.
Yeah.
Typical Chase.
It's classic Utley.
It's what it is. So you have no right to make them comments. You lose your fan card with that kind of comment.
Let me.
Go ahead, Rob.
I just want to ask a quick question. All right, let's say Utley takes out your second baseman hard, like he's been known to do. Do you still have appreciation as a legend, or does the hatred start to begin?
Yeah,
that's how he plays the game.
That's how we know Chase.
Yeah, that's how he plays the game. He plays the game hard.
But to Mike's point about people retiring, farewell. Perfect example of enemies. David Ortiz announced this is his last year. He went into Yankee Stadium. And you were talking about public enemy number one. It's David Ortiz in Yankee Stadium, and that guy's still getting cheers because everybody pays their respects, knowing it's going to be maybe the last time they see this guy play. You were talking about enemies. That's hatred number one. That's like Troy Aikman coming in and Lincoln Financial or Veteran Stadium giving him a standing applause. David Ortiz is going to the Yankee Stadium and getting cheered this year.
Because
it's all about perspective.
Yup, appreciating greatness.
Yeah.
And guess what? For Chase Utley, at the end of his career now, okay, how much are you going to have the chance to be able to see him do that or cheer for him, as like we were talking about? You're cheering for him. You're not rooting for the Dodgers, like Mike said. You're cheering for Utley, and you're cheering for him for one night. Now, you want to give him a little clap when he comes to the plate tonight for the people that weren't there last night? Go ahead. But it ends there, and I'm in complete agreement it ends there. But to talk about plunking and any other asinine comments, it's just not – it just gives us a bad rap, and it makes you sound like an idiot.
So, Mr. Navo, I have another question for you.
Yes.
What would you say if I told you that there was a precedent for this, too?
About what?
What would you say if I told you that there was a precedent for that situation? I'm going to rewind. I'm going to rewind the clock a little bit, and I know that you are a bit of a young buck, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this. May 22nd, 2006, so it's a little over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Frank Thomas returns to Chicago and the White Sox as a member of the Oakland A's.
Yes.
40,000 people in U.S. Cellular Field. Frank Thomas homers in his first 2 at-bats as a member of the Oakland A's and got standing ovations every single plate appearance for the rest of that series. There's a precedent. This is not the Philadelphia can't let go of the past or why does Chase Utley get the God complex. This is showing appreciation for someone who he's achieved legend status in your town. I mean, this is a guy who reached base in 26 consecutive postseason games. He had the highest WAR among second basemen 7 years in a row. I mean, if his lifetime batting average was 10 points higher, he would probably be a Hall of Famer. And you have a beef because he's getting what you call the Dawkins treatment or the Iverson treatment. He's not that far below them, my friend.
You're right, he's not that far, but he's not there yet to give him that level of treatment.
How's he not? He's better. What has Brian Dawkins brought to this city? And I'll wait. I'll wait.
What was that?
What is Brian Dawkins brought to the city? And I'll wait. I got all night, Dave. What's Brian Dawkins won for the city? I'll continue to wait. What does he want? Now tell me what he's won.
He's won nothing but.
Okay, then he's won nothing but. He's won nothing. We're all about freaking winning here. When did we change? Now we're small market, Dave. Now it doesn't matter wins and losses to us. Now championships don't matter. Shut the hell up and listen, because I'm going to educate you for a minute, because you uneducated everybody who listened to this station the last 20 minutes that I've let you ramble and ramble and ramble nonsense into our eardrums. Like I have to go bathe after this to clean the shit that you spilled all over me. I got to get it off of my body. That's how bad it is right now, the comments you're making. Brian Dawkins, who I love to death, never won shit here in the city of Philadelphia. Shut up and listen. Chase Utley, who played the game the same way Brian Dawkins did, the same exact way, with fire, energy, passion, right? Everything, won a championship here. And you're saying he isn't at the level of Brian Dawkins? Will you please get a clue or go ahead. Let him rebuttal this.
No, see, I understand what you're saying.
You sound like my dad. Like my dad says no to everything. Like some things you don't say no to. Like that you can't go no to that comment. Like there's no there. The question was, what has Brian Dawkins won? You can't say no, but.
Iverson and Dawkins haven't won anything for the city. You're right. But without Utley, we still win another.
Oh, no, we don't.
No shot.
There's no shot.
Wow.
There's no shot. Wow. And then you know what? There's precedent for that, too. You look at the year that Utley got hurt, and they had to go out and sign Tadahito Iguchi just to stay in contention. And they didn't jump the Mets in the division until Utley came back, and the Mets had to collapse.
Now, speaking of the Mets.
Because the Mets had to collapse. If the Mets don't collapse, we don't make the playoffs.
Are we ifs? Hold on. The Yankees don't collapse. The Red Sox don't go on to win their first ever World Series. So what are we doing the if game for? Will you stop it,
please? But the Mets collapsed, but the Phillies still had to win games to catch them.
No.
All right, Mr. No. Spew your knowledge. Go ahead.
No, see, I'm going to get back to Iverson for a second.
Okay.
If Iverson and Kobe switch teams, we still don't have a championship.
Neither do
Actually, we would. We would with Kobe. But it doesn't matter. Without Utley, we still win.
You just contradicted yourself.
No.
So I don't know how to respond.
Kobe don't win a title in Philly, and the Phillies don't win a title without Utley.
Let me just make a quick point, right? So Mike Piazza went on to greener pastures with San Diego, right? Did he win a World Series with the Mets? No, he was on the losing side of the Subway Series. Yeah, true, he hit that great home run in 2001, but he didn't win anything with the Mets either. In his first game back on wearing a San Diego Padres uniform at the Mets ballpark, he got cheered. He even hit a home run, and he still got cheered. So I don't know what we're talking about right now.
You got to respect greatness.
And you know what? That's what it comes down to. It's literally there's a particular element of this fan base that does not respect greatness. Now, you want to talk about Donovan McNabb getting booed when he came back with the Redskins? Donovan McNabb's a jackass. And any booing that he got, he brought on himself. But when Donovan McNabb was introduced starting at quarterback for the Washington Redskins, number 5, Donovan McNabb. Okay. Donovan McNabb got cheered at the start of that game, and the boos came later. So even McNabb, for as big of a jackass as he is, got cheered in his return. Football and baseball are two entirely different sports. There is not another sport that is more revered for the history of the game than baseball. And that's just how it is. And for anyone to say that cheering Chase Utley last night, whether it's before the game, during the game, after each home run, after the game, these people that are posting on Facebook that if you cheer Chase Utley, you're a fraud, you shouldn't be cheering him because you're not a true fan, all that stuff. No, you are the frauds because you don't understand baseball. You don't understand the Phillies. What you understand is, I'm from Philadelphia, and if I can't beat you, I'm going to beat you up. Well, guess what? It's not 1997 anymore, okay? Times are changing, and the culture in sports in this city has to change. We need to get rid of this whole, he hit 2 home runs off us last night, so we're going to plunk him today. It's not how you win games.
And to the World Series point, he said we wouldn't win one in '08. If we would win one in '08 without Utley. In 2009, when they faced the Yankees, I don't know if you guys remember, Chase Utley was ripping the cut. He almost single-handedly won the Phillies that World Series in '09. He went on an absolute historical tear, home runs, RBIs, all that. That guy almost single-handedly took the Phillies over the Yankees in that series.
Yeah, he did. He did. But according to Dave, he does not the level of Iverson and Brian Dawkins in this city, and I just think that's a crock of shit. I mean, I'll tell you that in terms of the way he's impacted people, I'll say, okay, he's not Allen Iverson. Okay, I'll agree with you there. I completely agree with you that he's not Allen Iverson. Because Allen Iverson
off the court.
Maybe both. Because Allen Iverson just changed the way the whole game was played. Like, that everything, like, young up and good. And I was going to pull my Les Grossman, was the next thing I was going to say to him, is pull my inner Les Grossman. Now I want you to take a step back and literally fuck your own face. That was the next thing I was going to pull out. Because, I mean, just stop it. Just stop it with your nonsense. You know what I mean? And it's a good kid. And we're trying to educate him. And he's, I don't know if he's trying to be a smart ass about it or if he really can sit at home and say to himself that we should plunk Chase Utley.
We're going to have another caller calling in a second with the...
Hopefully we're not going to pull another Les Grossman.
With the opposing viewpoint.
The normal viewpoint?
Okay. Yeah, the people's viewpoint, we'll call it.
And then the people bring up Brian Dawkins, Chase Utley, and Allen Iverson. They're essentially the same people. And we appreciated all three of them because they played balls to the wall, nonstop effort, and gave 110% to everything they had every time they stepped on the court, field, whatever it was in the city. That's why we appreciate them. All three of them, as a respect for Philadelphia, are on the same level.
My man.
No, they are. Of course. I mean, I'm not. He's the one having to come on and make these cases that certain guys are better than other guys. And listen, I love Dawkins, but the case to say that Brian Dawkins has done more for the city than Chase Utley is a crock of shit.
I would rank it Iverson, Utley, Dawkins.
Listen, Dawkins is behind most of them guys on that '08 Phillies team. He's behind Jimmy Rounds. He's behind Ryan Howard. I hate to break the news to people. They won something here. They won something. Them guys are always going to be more revered than Dawk in my eyes because they brought us a championship, something we were starved for. And we're so easy to say that Dawkins is ahead of it. I know we love football and the intensity he brings, but Iverson's won just because of what he did for the game, brought basketball back to the city of Philadelphia. But the rest of them guys...
He's the reason the NBA has a dress code.
Yeah, Howard, Utley, Rollins, them three are the next three on my list, and then I'll go Dawk just because he didn't win.
Right, but and here's the thing, too, is when you look at Chase Utley, like... Can we at least just take a second to appreciate the guy off the field, too?
Yeah.
I mean, he did so much.
All three of them, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
All three of them.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. All deserve that same credit for everything, and Hamels included. On how not only were they great players on the field, all of them great guys off.
That's my view. Yeah. When they go into the Phillies Wall of Fame, all three of them should go in together.
Four.
I would
Cole, too.
I would love it.
And Pat's already in, or you would,
Yeah, but I mean, you look at what Chase and Jen do, like with the SPCA and the animal rescue and the dogs and everything like that. And I mean, the amount of lives that this guy has changed off the field by pairing up, like, just kids in need with pets and families with pets and rescuing dogs and donating funds. And he has his casino night every year at the TLA. And, oh, my God, like, it's funny because you and I will joke, and I call him, like, St. Chase because everybody bows down to him. But you know what? At the end of the day, the guy deserves it.
They all do.
They all do.
They all do. Let's go to the phone lines. Got Ryan on the line. Ryan, what's happening?
Oh, my God, what the hell just happened? What the hell is this guy? What the hell is this? I mean... I was texting Mike, like, I'm sorry. Like, I had to do something. I had to talk to somebody. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do.
You jump out the window?
Yeah, I mean, like, really? Is this, I don't know if he's playing some kind of character or whatever. It can't be a real person. You couldn't have just talked to a real person there. Like, if he honestly thinks, and if he has that lack of respect, not only for greatness, but for a guy that, for the huge part of that World Series team, I mean, come on now. Like, not only should he turn in all of his Philly, fandom, he should honestly go back to NASCAR like I put on Facebook because he doesn't have a clue when it comes to real sports. or life, it seems like.
No, none of it.
Come on.
Well, the funny thing is that the only jerseys the only jersey he owns is stuff with his name on the back, and that's how he should leave it. He should be, if he had jerseys with real players on the back, he could go at least trade them in. But the only thing he can do with them jerseys is go throw them in a fire pit.
God, they feast. I mean, it reminds me. I used to do a show with a guy, Jay Seller, and he did the whole thing with the J-Lo jerseys. I mean, so I lived with this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But I've never, ever in my day, and I'm only 20 years old, so maybe I'm lucky that I haven't experienced this yet, but I've never heard an idiotic comment like that in my life. It's absolutely ridiculous. I just wanted to drop a line real quick. Like I said, I had to talk to you guys about this. I'm glad, Mike. Great rip. I'm so happy that you did that.
Well, I had to wait until I recovered from knocking us off the air to rip them, but
Oh God, I'm literally like I'm like shaking. Like I couldn't understand. I'm like screaming at the phone. Like, are you freaking serious? Are you serious? This guy's a legend in the town. Give him his moment. We have nothing else to cheer about. Nothing.
I want to believe that he called in just to spice up the show, get people a little hot under the collar, but I think that'd be giving him too much credit.
Oh, no question about it. Yeah. I like where your head's at, though, Rob.
Like
I was hoping that was the case, and then I took a step back from the phone and literally almost went and fucked my own face.
Ding, tutu. I mean, I know because on some of the shows I'm on, I'll bring up an asinine point just to have a little Winnie banner and get a little guys a little fired up.
Yeah, but you're educated.
Yeah.
dude, I'm spent.
That's a word.
I need a cigarette.
We can help you out there.
Oh my God! So I just wanted to say that this guy does not belong on social media. We know certain people that don't belong on social media. Ralph Delavecchio, I'm commenting to you, and even
shots fired.
It's not even a shot fire. I do it every week. So it's not that big of a deal.
Ryan, where can we hear you do that every week?
Where can we hear you do that? Where can you hear me do it every week?
Yeah.
Here on ETDRadio.com.
There you go. A little quick cheap plug.
Cheap plug.
I like it. I like your style. But yeah, guys, great show. I just got home. I'm glad I wasn't driving when that stuff was going on, because I probably would have swerved off the road. But yeah.
Oh, well, that can't happen.
No, I cannot. I can't. No. But yeah, good show, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Later.
Thanks, Ryan.
It's spot on. I mean, I almost have like a headache over it. Just how dumb. I just never met anybody so dumb in my life, and that's all with all due respect, which means I can say whatever the hell I want, right? And we're just pulling out all the quotes tonight. We're pulling.
Yeah, you know you're about to say some disrespectful shit when you start off the comment saying "with all due respect."
With all due respect, which means I can say whatever the hell I want now, right?
Can the guy behind the guy get this guy off of Facebook, because he has no business being on Facebook?
No, well, listen, he disappeared for a while. I didn't know where he was.
He went rogue and he came back an asshole.
Well, at least a kid trying to spice it up.
Maybe he went on a vision quest, and that's.
He's got a girlfriend now. Maybe he's trying to show her how big his schlong is.
Yeah, well, he lost that one.
Have you ever heard me that fired up before? I think that might be a first too.
No.
I was hot.
Rightfully so. It's just dumb.
I've just been dealing with this shit all day today. These people, I'm literally looking at a post on the book right now that says, if I'm the Phillies, I drill Chase tonight after what happened last night. What happened last night? What did he do?
Did we get knocked out of the playoffs last night? What happened? What happened?
Did he injure a player on our team? Did he?
Why can't we just show some love for an all-time great?
Well, then I make the point
what the hell is wrong with people?
I make the same point to this guy that I made to Navo.
Who's this guy?
Rob V from the Rob V Show.
Who the hell's Rob V?
He's the guy who wanted to know if you ever played ball and if you could pitch for him. Back a couple months ago, we were talking to him. We'll talk about that later.
No, he wanted to know if I could pitch to him?
No, he said he was looking for former college and professional ball players.
Maybe you could have drilled him
for his team. And
like a wood bat league?
Yeah, and I told him that you used to play, and he's like, "Oh, does he pitch?" Whatever.
Well,
anyway,
that's how much the guy knows.
So I make the same point to him that I make to Navo, and he goes, "Oh, have you ever coached?" I'm like, "Dude, I played to my junior year of college at a D1 school, and I've been coaching for 20 years. You want to come at me with that? All right, I see how you are."
I don't know what coaching has to do with common sense.
And no coach in the world is going to tell their pitcher to go hit a guy who's a Hall of Famer for that team.
Yeah. Exactly. That's just, where are these guys coming up with this at?
And then one of the comments,
a new strain of drugs around.
One of the comments on there, I'm confused by the crushes that people still have on Chase Utley. You don't curtain call in a visiting stadium. I don't care how much the fans want it. If Chase was playing on the Phillies and we did this for someone else, he would hate it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You think Ryan Howard cared last night?
No.
You think Ryan Howard looked at that and said, "Oh man, these fans are how?"
Because he's going to expect the same treatment.
How dare they? Yeah, and he will get the same treatment. You know, he should at least. And if he doesn't, then there's a problem with the fan base.
Chase was there last year when Jimmy came back, and he was standing on the field giving him an ovation.
Yep, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It's just paying respect, man. It's just paying respect. These guys are assholes.
Ryan Howard did the same thing last night. They showed it when Utley came to the plate. He took his glove off and clapped right on first base.
And the cool thing with that was, so Utley takes off his helmet, and he turns to the third base side. He tips the cap. He turns to the first base side. He tips the cap. He points into the dugout. So he's showing respect for the team. And then he points directly at Ryan Howard, who was clapping for him on the field, and points to Ryan Howard. At this point, Cameron Rupp, who was literally teammates with him for a year and a half, comes out from behind the plate and kicks dirt onto the plate so that the home plate umpire has to clear the plate off and gives him more time for the ovation to go on. The guys on the field were perfectly fine with what happened last night. Why do the fans have to throw their 2 cents in? Why is it okay for the guys on the field but not for the fans?
Well, Mike, you know what's funny? And give Cameron Rupp even more credit last night, because not only did he do that, where he went and kicked a little more dirt on the plate, but after that, he walked away, and he got out of the whole shot of the picture and just gave Chase Utley that entire box and the entire circle. I mean, if you watch again, he went walking away. You know, he got out of the shot, and that's just a class. You know, that's everything you need to know. This is an opposing player saying, you know, I'm getting completely out of this whole area because this isn't about me. I don't need to be in this picture when the time comes. This is about this guy. And when you see another player who spent time a year and a half with this guy, it's everything you need to know on what kind of guy he is to other guys, right? When Jimmy came back and Chase and Ryan were clapping for him on the field, it showed you everything about what Jimmy Rollins was as a player and what he meant to these guys in the clubhouse. You saw last night with Howard then clapping for Utley and what Rupp did. It shows you how much this guy meant in the clubhouse and as a player. And the same thing when Howard comes back, you know, and the same thing, you know, that Barrel got. You know, and the list will go on and on for these guys who were here during this time.
Well, they did it again tonight at the beginning of the game. And like you referenced earlier, you had the group there tonight that wasn't there last night. Well, tonight, Carlos Ruiz is behind the plate. Pitcher completes his warm-up tosses. Ruiz takes the ball. He throws it down to second base. And then he jogs out to the mound. So as they're announcing Chase Utley walking to the plate tonight, which, oh, by the way, no Cashmere. So obviously the team is going back to normal. You know, Chooch is out on the mound talking to Jake Thompson, calming the kid down. And he's also letting Utley get that one last ovation because Chooch knows after that first at-bat tonight, all bets are off.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
They should be. No, I have no issue with that. It just amazes me with people, the lack of respect they have for great players in this city. And, you know, I thought it was that we didn't realize a lot of times, and I think this is for most fan bases, you know, when a guy's active and he's playing for your team and he's at the end of your career or he struggles at some point, we forget all the great stuff he did for us. But then when a guy comes back and either he's retired, you know, most time it takes us to the time he's retired to really give him the love that we wanted to give him when he was a player at all times, even though we boo at times and we get on guys' asses and all the things we did. And Chase Utley wasn't immune to that. Ryan Howard, all them guys, not immune for us being real about him at different times. But when you have a chance, when a guy's still active in this league, to show him a little extra love, take the chance, man. Don't wait till the guy's done his career, because you can do that again in 5 years from now when Chase Utley comes back for the Wall of Fame night and all that stuff, okay? You'll get another chance, but be able to do it while the guy's active, right? And the guy tore the cover off the ball, turned back the clocks last night, him and Ryan Howard, you know, combined for 3 home runs. We know what happened last night. When you got a chance to just show him some extra love, you take that chance, man. It's sport. It's all it is. If this was a playoff game, no. Okay, you don't even get the ovation. You understand? That's why. If this is a playoff game, there's no ovation.
I'll tell you what, though.
There's no ovation.
But here's the thing, Tommy. In all honesty, in the playoff, if it was a playoff game, if this is the NL Championship Series,
yeah.
Here's the thing. I can almost guarantee you they would have shown him just as much love by booing the living shit out of him.
Yes.
They would have completely flipped the script.
And he would have been boo, F you.
And booed him louder than they booed anyone else. But it would have still been a show of love because it would have been,
They respect you.
we know what this guy's capable of doing in the playoffs. We're going to boo the hell out of him. But going back to your previous point, and Sean, you hit this last week. Ryan Howard with the beer bottle incident. I mean, like, why did it take this guy getting a beer bottle thrown at him for the people in this city to show him some love?
Because we forget when guys are here or the guys on the downside of their career,
Right.
and we forget all the
What
great
have you
things they
done
did.
for me lately?
Yep.
And then when you see that actually happen to somebody, kind of puts everything in perspective. Like, all right, yeah, the guy's at the end of his career. Was he worth the money because of the injury after all that? No, obviously, because he hasn't really been up to par in the past couple years. But dude's a human.
He didn't demand that money.
Exactly. No, he definitely earned the
They
money.
came to him and offered him. Because he could have got more if he would have hit free agency.
Yeah, no, he could have. He could have. But at the time, you were paying him because the guy was the most prolific power hitter in the game at the time. I mean, the guy, you couldn't pitch to the guy. I mean, that's how scary of a presence he was. So, you gave him a little love. But listen, we're going to take a break on Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Right here at A2D.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll finish up our talk for tonight. And this segment was brought to you by Atlantic City, BMW of Atlantic City, and they've challenged their sales team. They will sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. At least a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to, minutes off exit 37 of the Parkway. Online, BMWAtlanticCity.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey, with over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for A2DRadio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. $125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at A2DRadio.com hope to see you there.
Welcome back, Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
We're right here at A2DRadio.com. I'm Tom Renone, joined by Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. And like every Wednesday night, we are brought to you by none other than Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountant. You can give them a call, 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Follow them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. If you're just joining us, we started the show off talking Eagles. We're going to go back to the Eagles right now in a few minutes here. But our poll question, you can vote on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us, and that's brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center. Find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. Do you believe that Carson Wentz's rib injury is serious enough to keep him sidelined? Yes, no. Better safe than sorry. 42% are coming in better safe than sorry. That's fine because they're not guys who think outside the box like us. You know what I mean? They're guys who click the safe ones because they're in their lives are more safe than sorry. They're them kind of guys. And them kind of guys are just guys that go through the motions and then life's over. But, I mean, I'm not here to, completely rip guys who quick the easy click. I mean, have a stance, at least for the genius, the jackass, the moron, with all due respect, who called in earlier. And I said all due respect afterwards because I'll say whatever the hell I want anyway to him.
Your show.
I just switched that up, Sean, in the way we were going. But
an important man once said that when you say, with all due respect, you don't respect.
You don't respect. But at least he had a stance on something. Completely wrong. But at least he had a stance. So whatever. Oh, I saw you touch.
I saw it move, and I got paranoid.
I got paranoid, too, when I saw you dive. You look like you dove across to save it for a second.
I'm an emotional wreck right now. I really am.
Slow motion.
Between that incident and just the you don't even understand.
I don't know what I've even heard tonight. Like, I would have – wow. I feel like I'm dreaming.
It's like they literally took, like, my second favorite Philly of all time and put him through the ringer today for shit that had nothing to do with him. It was the fans' reaction. And I'm dying over here.
Well, listen,
but I think I got it all out.
Well, let me know because we're moving on.
We're moving on.
We're going to move on to Lane Johnson, the trade of Dennis Kelly for Beckham. We're going to talk about that, and that's brought to you by the Sports Outlet located in Glendora, New Jersey. You can find them on the web, sportsoutletinc.com. That's sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. And Lane Johnson still pending. Not even pending. It's just they sent it out for the test, the bottle itself of whatever he took. So they sent that out to the lab. They're waiting on that result. But that result's not going to change from the result from his urine result. I mean, they're going to be the same. Because if something's in your urine that's coming through whatever you took, it's not going to change when you send the product out. Well, the product's going to be the same thing.
And the thing that gets me is, like, they talk about the A sample and the B sample. The B sample, you don't go back and pee again. It's 2 samples that are taken at the same time. They test one, and if the results from one are dicey, they test the other to make sure it wasn't the testing process that threw off the results. So, literally 99 times out of 100, the A sample and the B sample match. So, who knows? I have a feeling this thing is going to wind up in a lawsuit.
which just seems to be going a while. But this is a guy, if you go over, we talk about timelines tonight, and timelines are like the Carson Wentz injury. If you go to timelines of Lane Johnson, and you go back to last year when he complained about the fans booing, and then, Chip Kelly, is out the door. He's taking shots and jabs on his way out the door. And, to go before that, him getting suspended 4 games from the year previous. And just the whole timeline of him and his behavior. This isn't a guy that – this is a guy that, in my opinion, if he does get suspended 10 games, I cut his ass. I cut him. I make a statement that's not – that we don't tolerate that. We don't tolerate this kind of behavior that's been going on for 3 years now. I mean, it started with you testing positive. Then it started with you taking a shot at the fan base. Then it was a shot at your coach. Then it's a shot at the NFLPA. I mean, when does it stop, Lane? When does Lane Johnson look in the fucking mirror and say, hey, I'm a goddamn problem, right? I mean, look in the mirror, Lane. Tell me what you see. Because I see a flat-out liar. I see a disgrace. And I see a guy that I don't want on my football team. I don't care how talented you are, because guess what? I don't think Lane Johnson's as good as people think he is. I'm being real with the public. The worldwide leader, Real Talk, is keeping it real right now. I don't think he's all that good. He's okay. He's okay. He doesn't overwhelm me.
I'll say this. I actually think he's better at left tackle than he is at right tackle, because he's not overwhelming at right tackle. But he looked pretty dominant the 2 games they played him at left tackle last year.
And when he went up against a mutt.
But to your point, I absolutely cut him. Why? Because I can't trust him.
No, that's a big factor, right, Sean? Mm-hmm. Where do you stand on? What do you do with him?
No, I mean, I was back and forth on this when it happened. When it first came out, I was like, this absolute jackass. Like, how the hell can you do that? Especially all the drama he's caused in the past couple of years. Just do it. Like, one, you get caught. Don't touch shit. That could get you caught. Don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing. Do some H2O or some Gatorade, and that's it. Don't take nothing. Don't put nothing in your body. Unless you drive to Roger Goodell, say, here, can I take this?
Which Roger wants.
You said H2O. He thought you said HGH.
But no, I'm with you. I was back and forth on this. When it first happened, I was like, you got just wipe your hands with him. Be done. And then I sat back and I thought about it, and I'm like, this line sucks. This line sucks. Can you afford to do that? But like now, yeah, I'm at the point where now he's ripping the NFLPA. He's the kind of guy, nothing is ever his fault. And so I'm kind of in agreement with you guys. If it actually does get suspended 10 games, what's the point of having you on my roster if you don't play anyway? He's essentially missing the whole season, because what's 6 games at the end of the year?
Well, even beyond that, it then becomes a ticking time bomb, because the next time he gets popped, he's gone for 2 years.
Yep.
Which, they say it's 2 years, but it's essentially a lifetime ban, because nobody ever comes back after 2 years off. I don't care how young you are, how good you are. When you're gone from the game for 2 years, you're done.
Well, it's interesting then you go and trade Dennis Kelly for Beckham, which I think, on the surface we all feel like, the whole Sam Hinkie, we feel like we fleeced, right? The old Sam Hinkie fleeced word. We're back to that again. We feel like we fleeced the Titans. And for all intents and purposes, we essentially did, because we got a kid who, has had some off-the-field issues, blah, blah, blah. Remember, he's still a kid. It's his second year in the league, and comes in with already the second most catches if you put his numbers on this team from last year.
And led all rookies last year. As great a year as Mari Cooper had, led all rookies in yards per catch last season.
So, I mean, you'll take the risk to reward when it comes to Beckham in the trade. But the interesting thing is you give up Dennis Kelly, who I think we're all fine with here. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. But you give up a guy who can play a couple different offensive line positions. Is that maybe Lane Johnson isn't? Maybe they know something that we don't know, that maybe he's not getting suspended for 10 games, or they just have enough.
I think there's two ways. I think there's 2 ways to look at it. I think, number one, that could very well be a possibility, that the team knows that either he's not going to get suspended, or he's going to appeal and could win. Or when I said I feel like this is going to wind up in a lawsuit, I feel like he could pull a Brady, because the product that he supposedly took is approved. Sue the NFL and keep it in court long enough to play the season.
Yep.
And then figure it out from there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The other part, though, is maybe they just have guys on their roster that they like a little more than Dennis Kelly, but because Dennis Kelly saw game action last year and he's still, an established NFL roster name, why cut him at the end of camp when you could trade him, even if it means taking on somebody else's problem? Because in this town, and again, I don't want to go back and hit that same word again, but I'm going to. There's precedent. Opposite direction. Buddy Ryan got rid of Chris Carter because he was a problem child. And Chris Carter went on to become one of the greatest wide receivers in the history of the NFL. If Tennessee has gotten rid of DGB, notice I already gave him initials. If Tennessee has gotten rid of DGB because he's a problem child, but he comes in here, and we know that the Birds basically gave Brian Dawkins a promotion, and essentially his job is to keep Green Beckham on the straight and narrow. I mean, this kid could become the next T.O.
Oh, he's got the body.
He's got the body. He's got the skill set. I mean, I think that if Dawkins can get through to him and just keep him on the field, it's funny because I was going to ask a question a couple weeks ago, and you know what? I'll pull it out now because we got some time left. But I've been sitting on this for a while, and I was thinking, so if you look at the Phillies, you got Williams and Crawford, and just work with me on this. Phillies, you got Williams and Crawford. Flyers, you've got Provorov and Konechny. Sixers, you've got Embiid and Simmons. Eagles, you have Wentz and who? And you can't quite put your finger on a name. But now you've got Wentz and DGB. And now all of a sudden, if this kid pans out, the future's looking a whole lot brighter.
Oh, I agree. You have Jordan Matthews. You need somebody else. And because Jordan Matthews,
to me, is damn good. He's not a superstar.
No, he's not. He's not. And you need, if you have two damn good ones, you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you're looking for another one. And, and you got to press Aguilar a little bit by making a move like this, and Randall, because you saw what them two provided in the first preseason game. And Doug Peterson had to look at this roster and be like, whoa, well, we need competition, because Randall said it at practice, or Aguilar did. One of them said that, competition's a good thing. Well, of course you're going to say that, but the truth is it is a good thing, because maybe he gets more out of the guys that think they have jobs given to them. Aguilar looked like he came in, and then Randall, like, they're the 2 and 3, and that they were given the job. They didn't earn it, that it was just given out to them. Well, now you put some pressure on guys.
Now you
got to work for your job.
I think you've got more than pressure on him. I think they're bringing this kid in. He's going to be a starter. I think they're moving him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's
going to be number 2.
I think they move him straight to the top of the depth chart. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see Jordan Matthews on one side, DGB on the other, and then when they go to third down, Matthews slides inside, and then it becomes a battle to see who's going to line up outside of Matthews. Is it going to be Aguilar? Is it going to be Ruben Randall? Is it going to be Chris Givens? I think Josh Huff is now as good as gone. Well, and Paul Turner, who apparently they like a lot, he's now kind of on the fringe.
I actually was following a beat writer when the trade came out, what he was saying. And my first reaction when I seen the trade, I was like, all right, well, that's the end of Josh Huff. But then from what this guy was saying was the Eagles still have hope for Huff because of his ability to play special teams. And they said that actually this trade at DGB means that Ruben Randall's roster spot is in jeopardy because he can only play. And they said in training camp and through that first preseason game, he's just looked disinterested. It didn't really look like he wants to play. And they said Josh Huff has a better shot at making this roster because of his ability to play special teams, and he was their starting kick returner last year.
Interesting.
And they said that it actually means Ruben Randall's job's in jeopardy.
Very interesting. Rob, what was that? What do you got going on over there?
Well, you said,
you're like playing sports Scrabble. So go ahead, give it to me.
Well, you said DGB, and I'm trying to think. I think ODB, like old dirty bastard, right? I'm thinking, how can I put some words to that? So I said, damn good baller.
Damn good baller.
Yeah, Ballers. It's one of my favorite shows.
That's a
great
good
show. Great show.
That's solid.
It's like Entourage in the sports world.
It is.
It is, honestly.
And how could you go wrong?
Less drugs, though.
How could you go wrong with The Rock, guest appearances by legit athletes, and nudity? It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So before we wrap up, we talked Eagles. Just want to give you the news on Ryan Lochte, who claimed he was held at gunpoint.
This is crazy.
So he was claimed he was held at gunpoint. Well, today the New York Times is reporting that 2 other swimmers were actually removed from their flights to the United States from Brazil, Jack Conger and Gunnar Bentz, because both claimed that to gather more information because they were supposedly with him when they were held at gunpoint. So just interesting what they're doing. They had to pull guys off planes.
Yeah, I heard that earlier. Apparently the Brazilian police told Lochte to not leave the country until the investigation was done. But Lochte's already back in the States, and his people came out and said that they were never told that. But I mean, I don't know now does he have to go back?
It's going to be interesting because their claim they were held at gunpoint by police officers. The men who held them identified themselves as police officers.
Right, and they were Brazilian mafia posing as police to exploit the athletes in the Olympic Village or the athletes around town in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, well, everybody should do what the men's basketball team did and just get
a hotel,
get a cruise ship. Yep. I mean,
no worries.
No worries at all.
Unless you're Jimmy Butler, who's terrified of the sea, and he actually has a room that has 0 windows, so he can't see the water.
You know what, though? It's the mobile hotel. You get a cruise ship. It's awesome. But, dude, I'll tell you what, though. You know what's really cool is, some of those Olympic basketball players really are getting the most out of the Olympic experience. I think it's really cool when it's 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. You turn on NBC, and they're rolling, the beach volleyball, and you see, Melo and DeAndre Cousins and Klay Thompson there in their Team USA warm-ups, just chilling, watching the women's volleyball.
Oh, well, you'd be a damn fool not to go out and watch women's volleyball. You better soak in the Olympic Village.
You got Kevin Durant, he's at the what do they call that thing? The cycling the Drome where they do the cycling events and stuff like that. And he's sitting there taking it all in. It's the thing that I really dig about these guys is that they really are they get paid millions of dollars, but there's something about putting on that red, white, and blue where they fall into the, hey, I'm an Olympian.
Well, Stephen A. Smith and Melo went at it a little bit because Melo said that. First Kyrie said that winning a gold medal is the same as winning an NBA title, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're winning a gold medal.
The ultimate accomplishment.
Yeah, nobody can ever take that away from you. I mean, most of these athletes that go to the Olympic Games, that's what they're going there to do. It's winning medals and stuff around the U.S. or international stuff when it's not the Olympics is all well and good. But winning that gold medal at the Olympics is what these guys trained for. So, yeah, I think these guys, when they get a chance to go over there once every 4 years, to win a gold, and for Melo to say that he doesn't consider his career, a failure because he doesn't have an NBA championship because of the gold medals he has. And I tend to agree with him. I really do.
What team has Melo had in the NBA?
Exactly. It's always been just Melo. And remember, it's the kid who has a national championship, too, at the college level as a freshman. So, I mean, this guy has some hardware that, I agree with him. You shouldn't – there's no –
and that's a question I always ask.
You don't lose credibility to me because you don't have the NBA
no, that's
title.
a question I always ask people. Back to that 2003 draft, the Pistons were coming off a championship and had the number 2 overall pick. Carmelo's sitting right there after LeBron, but instead they took Darko Milicic. How different would we view Carmelo Anthony if you put him on that Pistons team? They definitely win another one. At least one.
Yeah, I was saying that the other day too.
How different would you look at his legacy?
He might be in the conversation of being better than LeBron.
It's a possibility.
You could be.
He would have won one earlier.
I mean, coming out. I mean, obviously he was a little ahead of LeBron in terms of his game at the time. But I thought that Melo should have went number 1. If you were talking to me before that draft, I would have probably went Melo number 1 because that's how much I loved his game. But
I was cracking up the other day because I saw a meme on Twitter. It said that the New York Knicks were investigating trading Carmelo Anthony for Olympic Carmelo Anthony.
Oh.
They just want the version of him that plays in the Olympics.
That's great.
I mean, he's the greatest Olympian basketball player ever.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely.
He is.
There's not even a question.
And how crazy is that? I mean, so that's a great career. I mean, you can't knock a guy. But, I mean, then he came back, and Stephen A., who doesn't back down from anything, came back the next day and was like, I talked to Melo, and I shouldn't have went back. Okay.
That guy.
Now you're backing down. Because you hurt somebody's feelings, I guess.
You know what the A stands for.
Ass.
Exactly.
Well, it's quick for that one. But, listen, for another edition of Tom
Mike
AM.
in the PM.
Right here at HUDradio.com. We thank you all for listening. For Tom Arnone, Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. We'll be back next Wednesday night. We got to thank Gibson Mayer LLC, our Wednesday night sponsor. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com, and Atlantic City BMW as well. Find them on the web, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. And again, thank you, Gibson Mayer. Again, find them on the web for all your accounting needs, GibsonMayer.com. See you all next week. Later.
Peace.